So there's that notice, recording in progress. If anyone comes across this video from our YouTube site or anywhere else, please be reminded that these discussions are for agents with the Legends of Real Estate. Any information you hear or see here is directed towards agents with our brokerage. Please check with your brokerage if you have questions about discussion topics that we include. So there's my disclaimer in case anybody pops around. I've been surprised about how many people actually pop into our YouTube site that aren't with us. So that's nice that people think that we have something that they can gain interest from. And on last Tuesday at the business meeting, I will say both attorneys had very positive things to say about our discussions. So thank you guys for participating in that. So I did want to kind of talk about statistics. You know, everything is cyclical. And I think in our markets, we see that not only are there ups and downs, but there's perceptions and misperceptions and misunderstandings. And you end up becoming the source of the source or the resource. You also become the guide through a lot of this. So sellers that are coming off of markets may still be realistic or maybe unrealistic or maybe getting towards realism. We've definitely had a shift over towards more of a balanced market, and in some areas, very much to a buyer's market. Would you guys agree, or what are you guys seeing?
I think that we are definitely shifting more towards a buyer's market, but still sellers have some weight in what they're willing to agree to what the buyers are offering. So I feel like
Sure.
we're sort of in a, I don't want to say tug of war, but it does sort of feel like that. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
yeah. I think tug of war is probably a really good description because buyers think that the market has shifted, so they think they should be getting a really good deal. Sellers are like, well, really, it hasn't shifted, but that's where you can really help them with statistics. Diane, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I feel like it's depends on what the property is. It could go either way. Right now, we're kind of in the middle, and depending on each property, it kind of tugs, like she said, a tug of war where it can kind of go either way. Still seeing activity out there, but buyers are getting closing costs from what I'm seeing on my listings.
Oh, yeah.
And they're getting there's good deals out there. So I'm gonna get my buyers back out there before this interest rates drop lower, and then it's a seller's market again.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point. I mean, we're seeing interest rates come down a little bit. I'm concerned about some of these layoffs and stuff, how they're going to impact the unemployment rates, which can impact our economic rates, which can, of course, impact our mortgage rates. But I think that we still see strong indicators that the rates are going to come down a little bit more. And I think your observation is very well placed. If the rates come down a significant amount, we don't see that, but if the rates were to drop a significant amount, even 0.5%, that could be an influx of buyers into the market, which could shift us back to a seller's market or a belief in a seller's market. And that's why some of the statistics that you watch are going to be so important. And that's kind of why I wanted to focus on that today. When you guys are doing statistics, where are you pulling them from, or where are you getting your statistics from?
Domus Analytics off of MLS.
Okay, so you're getting into Domus. That's great. When we get there, I want to know a little bit more about where you like to go.
Getting some from RPR.
RPR. Okay, great.
Yes, RPR for sure.
Okay, good. Remember a challenge with RPR? Go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say is sometimes in all the statistics that we have out there, I feel like some of the numbers are not accurate. And so running your own numbers is kind of the best way to gauge things. I don't know I know RPR pulls from some of the active listings sometimes, and that can be deceptive.
So just like a Zillow or just like a Homes.com, it's all algorithms. You're
Mhm.
correct that sometimes it's, they've got active in there. And sometimes the comps that they use aren't always the strongest comps. That's why sometimes you have to take a look at the comps that they use for their Zestimate or RVM or analytic portion for pricing. So, I mean, I think that the comps that they use can be a little misleading. You're exactly right. Could inflate, could deflate. I don't know. I think that you probably have to look at a couple of different places, but there are some nice resources. And then the other thing is that when you're looking at RPR, when you're looking at homes.com, when you're looking at realtor.com, they're looking at broad market. So you have to be able to come down and talk about local market changes, which is where I think some of our resources are great, either through MLS or within MLS, that are really beneficial. So with that, let me go ahead and share my screen here. I wanted to really just kind of look at wanted to kind of talk about a few different resources, and you may be familiar with them and you may not be, or want to at least get in and see. It sounds like, Diane, it sounds like you're using Domus Analytics, which is great. It's a great place to work within and customize data. There's market summary within MLS, and the one thing I like about that is it's very quick and easy when you're getting some general market stats, whether it be a subdivision or an area. But the other thing I really like about market summary is that you can create your own custom market area and get good statistics on a custom market area. So you can become very granular when you look at market summary. Domus Analytics, I think that they've got the way that Domus Analytics works even on their main screen is it's got a couple of very quick, easy resources that you can utilize to provide to your customer very quickly that gives them good statistics and gives you a guide. And then you can go really deep dive into the markets or the statistics. And then with Metro Market Trends, I think that there's a great opportunity there with being able to pull information. Let's see, owner occupied versus non-owner occupied. You can look at subdivisions. You can segment out properties that have been owned for a period of time or greater. So if I want to market a specific area or type of property, I can find the owners that have been there 10 years or longer, being that they may have a greater opportunity to or greater interest in selling their property. So there might be an opportunity based on more than just straight demographics or straight stats. You might be able to go into psychographics, how long in a home, trends within a market area. So I think Metro Market Trends is also a great. So those are the three that I wanted to kind of focus on. I did want to let you know that there are a couple of others. There's SunStats, which is at floridarealtors.org. And that's a pretty good resource as a guide, and that's taking it from the local market level up one. It provides data on counties, so you can kind of get some general statistics to then use to support or show a potential customer, buyer or seller, how the trends may be floating down into a local market, or how trends within a general market sometimes aren't quite relative in a local market. So I think that SunStats is really good. There are some other reports through Florida Realtors, as well as some general market trend reports through NAR. Any other sources that you guys want to bring up that you're looking at or that you're thinking about or that you've looked at?
I miss InfoSpark or whatever it was that we had before. That was free before Zillow bought ShowingTime.
Yeah, InfoSparks, and that was through MLS also, but that's really been replaced by Domus Analytics. But was there something in InfoSparks that you were really interested in that you liked?
Yeah, I liked it when I had a listing because it showed days on the market and how many showings to get under contract, and it kind of helped me
Huh.
gauge when I had a listing, because I was able to show, we really haven't gotten enough showings to gauge, or to get an offer yet. We needed to either drop the price to get us there, or we need to, do something to get more showings.
And you're right, that's not free to us anymore. There, you can purchase that through Showing Time. You can get a subscription to Showing Time.
Yeah, I tried
And
it. Not as good.
okay, don't like as well. I actually really like that information through Showing Time. I would like to be able to see you can get an average number of showings before going under contract and that kind of information. It can be a guide for some of your sellers. But okay, so thinking about those kinds of things, I wanted to start by just going into Market Summary, because Market Summary is pretty straightforward. Have either of you used Market Summary before?
I do. That's the one I use more often. I don't know the other one, the second one, so that's why I'm on the call.
Oh, the Domus Analytics? You know that one.
No, I haven't used it much, so I've played with
Oh,
it since
okay.
you started talking about
Okay.
it, but that's new
Yeah.
to me.
Okay. So Market Summary is really right straight through your MLS. So here's your dashboard. You can go straight into MLS. With Market Summary, I have it saved on my toolbar. If you want to save it on your toolbar, or if you want to access it, you can use menu and just type in Market. And under Statistics, you'll have Market Summary. So you can see that straight through there. And the thing I like about Market Summary is it's fairly straightforward. So since they've added the colors, kind of helps. But what you're looking at here is this is for Southampton, which is a subdivision. And I'm looking at the trending over a year for listings. So this would be active listings. In other words, what's happening with active listings? Active listings have come down. And then what's happening with new listings? So here are my new listings. New listings are way down. And then here are my sold listings. Sold listings are kind of down. We got 0, so that's not good. In other words, if you've got someone listing in Southampton, excuse me, it looks like they're going to have some competition. Sales are not happening very quickly, and that there's some new properties coming on the market. Listing prices, you can see kind of what's happening. If we look at active median list price, which is those properties that are active, it's almost a flat line, but it has come down. If you look at what's happening with sold median sales price, way down. But what's going on? New median list price is up. So this shows us the kind of differentiation and mindset matters, where a seller may have a different mindset based on what people are willing to pay in that marketplace. Absorption rate, and it's not always easy to find absorption rate, but I mean, in different statistic reports. I love absorption rates because it begins to tell people about what's realistic in time. So if someone's in a hurry and then they're in this subdivision, I can tell them on average it's taking almost 8 months to sell a property. In other words, what the absorption rate looks at is if we stop right now and we say, this is what's on the market, we're taking no more new listings. This is with the inventory we have. How long is it going to take to get rid of that inventory? And in this subdivision, it's looking like it's taking almost 8 months to get rid of inventory. So is it competition? Is it pricing? Those are all the other factors we kind of have to look at. And is it mindset? Is it location? What is it that's impacting it? If we look at general market, how does general market compare to this? So we'll answer that question in a second. So think about that, almost 8 months of inventory in just that one subdivision. Sold to list ratio is up, which is a great sign. In other words, that this differentiation may not be impacting the buyer's willingness, so that what we're seeing is the sold to list price is really kind of at 100%. In other words, they're selling at what they're listing at, even if it is taking a long time to sell. So that's a dichotomy there. That's going to it's kind of an oxymoron. It's longer on the market, but it's selling longer on the market, but it's selling it at 100% of the asking price. That seems odd to me. So there may be something behind that that we could take a look at. Then if you look at days on the market, the days on the market are coming down. And then the price volume, in other words, how much volume is currently on the market in Southampton. So the graphs are a nice way to be able to kind of show someone what's happening. And then you can get into the numbers depending on how detailed your customer base is. So absorption rate, and I like looking year over year. And when you're looking year to date, sometimes it's not always the easiest to do, but year over year, it looks like the absorption rate has gone up to 7.75 months versus 1.7 months in December of 23. We should have January. Let's see. I customize the location. Should be able to go to January. That's what it says. Maybe there was no sales in January. That's why. Oops. Shoot. Sorry. I got rid of Southampton. So this is the general market. So I didn't put in, I went to customize and I didn't put in a location. So it's going to give me the general market. So if we just even look at general market, the general market's at roughly 4.9 months and Southampton was at almost 8. So it's taking a lot longer in that market. You can see this sold. So sometimes what I used to like to do was start with the market and then bring out the customer's location. So try and get more in depth as we come down so that they could see how the shifts in the economy and the shifts in the market can impact their pricing or their time on the market, depending on what their primary goals are. If I want to go back to Southampton, I really just have to come back to customize, new location, or I guess I could use previous locations and see if it's in here. Southampton right there. I want to do this one through January 2025 and search. And that's the other thing I like about this is this changes fairly quickly and easily. So I'm back to Southampton, residential, it's 8 months on the market. So I can see fairly easily, I can bounce back and forth between the general market and a subdivision. And then this area will give you the statistics. So year over year, we're looking at, sorry, it was 2.3 months versus 7.75 months. Average list price is, let's see, 648, 643, so it's down 0.82%. Down in the median list price, almost 5%. Average sales price is up 11%, and median sales price is up 11%. So that's good. These are good numbers to say that if you price it right, it will sell. These numbers tell us if you're pricing wrong, you're going to be longer on the market. And then here's the time on the market. It's down 60%, both in average and median. So that's great. So the number of days on the market is coming down, despite the fact that we're looking at eight months or almost 8 months. So, and then this is where you have to start, people go blind, or not blind, people go blurry-eyed when you start talking statistics. So you have to focus on a few things that you feel comfortable with and then be able to support it. So like your sold listings, where is the price range of sold listings? Well, I can see that this area 5 to 750 is down 50%, but we're only talking 1 to 2 listings. So when you're talking the micro market, you're talking very, you're not going to have a lot of numbers to work with or a lot of count to work with in a market that's a little more balanced. So you have to kind of weigh that out impacting. But I like to be able to see not only the sold versus pending, because pending tells us where people are spending, sold tells us what they spent. Same price range as active, but that makes sense. We're in a subdivision. Subdivision is really a 5 to 750 subdivision. There may be 1 or 2 that are priced over that, which may be an overpriced listing. And then active listings, where they're coming on the market. So now I'm going to see what the competition is doing. Active listings, we've got some here in the low range, in the 3 to 4, the 4 to 5, 5 to 750. So I can see here, we've got in 25, we've got now more listings, so it's a more competitive. So now I'm going to take the statistics that show me that, hey, I'm getting less time on the market, but now I'm in a more competitive marketplace. How does that work? It's going to be based on price and condition, right? So market summary, feedback on how you can see this used, or anything that you think about a market summary report. Questions on some of the statistics? When you see a gap like this, it means there were no sales. So if I want to change this, I can customize it by a new location. Now notice I'm looking at all the different MLSs. That's not a bad thing. When you customize the location, it'll just make sure to include any listing that may have been listed by an agent out of one of these other areas, which is not uncommon anymore. I can also go back and forth between residential, residential come land, commercial, residential lease. It throws condos, townhomes into residential. So if I want to get down further into it, it's not as easy to do that in this space as it is in the Domus Analytics. And if I want a new location, all I have to do is click on new location. You can see that I can go ahead and use any of the subdivision names. I can do it by zip code. I can do it by any predefined area. So what's a subdivision that you may be interested in?
Amelia Walk.
I'm sorry?
I said Amelia Walk.
Amelia Walk. So here's Amelia Walk. Double click on it so that it places it below. And then click on search. There we go. Search. And that's the other thing I like about this is that we've gone from Southampton to Amelia Walk in about 3 seconds. And now I have all those same statistics on Amelia Walk. So I could do Amelia Walk. I could do North. So I could do North Jacksonville based on MLS definitions. And then I could see that change versus residential. So I could start with residential, move down to North Jacksonville and into Amelia Walk to see how statistics are changing or how trending is. So absorption rate, we're looking at coming down into 7 months. Sorry, go ahead.
So the sold to list ratio, look how far that dropped down. What does that mean again?
So the sold to list ratio is the percentages. So this is now at an 88.8 list to sales price percentage.
Okay. List price to sale price percentage.
Correct.
Thank you.
So back in January of 24, we were at 101, and we've slowly come down, right? What do you think that's impacted by?
That is impacted by the 19 or 20 or 25 homes that are in the current neighborhood for sale. No, yes. Saturation.
I think that. Excuse me.
A saturated market in that subdivision.
I think that's definitely when you've got the number of listings over the last few months has been somewhat flat, but you have new listings going up, sold listings going down. You're kind of converging over here on your listing prices, but sold median sales price is down. So, that's telling us that these active and median list prices, which is where the market is, the consumer is saying, no, that's not what we want to spend. Matter of fact, we'll spend less, which impacts that. Days on the market are going up. And if we look down here, we can see negative, not available. What are we doing on pending listings? Where are people pending? People are pending here, what they'll spend. interesting though, because we're lower than that. Okay. Active listings, new ones are coming on the market, up 33% in this price range, the 4 to 5. But what else is this impacted by? New construction in the area.
Yes,
new
new
con-
construction in the area with lower price for a brand new home.
Right, right.
So almost the exact same size home, similar builder and some the same, lower price point for a brand new home.
Yeah, so this demonstrates exactly what you're saying and the challenge that you'll have in that subdivision. The other thing I really like about Market Summary is it works in connection with your searching. So if I'm in MLS and I have a custom market area that I'm marketing to, so let me go over to residential. So if I wanted to have a specific area that I was marketing to, maybe I'll around a little bit. I could come into the map and let's say that I just wanted this section of Miramar. That's all I really wanted was below San Marco, and I want to just be in this section. I can draw that. So I can come over to my polygon or circle or square, but I'm going to use a polygon because it allows me to be flexible with the areas. I can go ahead and click the polygon and I can say, okay, well, I want to be right here, come over to here. I want to follow San Jose down, and I'm going to follow it over to University and come out. And this is my Miramar that I want to, oops, cross lines. So this is Miramar that I want to take a look at, but I want to be able to track it. I want to be able to see what's going on with it. I can come into my save, and polygons are the only thing that you can save. So I can save that polygon and I can call it Miramar. I'm saving it as a polygon. I click on save. And now I can always pull this polygon up if I want to do statistics or searches or any of that kind of stuff within it through MLS, but I can also use it in my market summary. Like when I come into market summary and I want to change the area, I can customize my area to a new location. And if I type in Miramar, you'll see that down at the bottom it says my map overlays Miramar polygon. If I click on that polygon, notice it puts polygon into here. And now I can search, and all of the information I have will be about that specific area. So if I want to have very refined statistical information on a market that I create, I can get that in Market Summary. I can't get that in Domus Analytics, and that's a challenge. I can get fairly close in MMT because I can map MMT, so I can get contact information for that specific area in MMT. So I can mirror when I create this polygon, I can mirror that in MMT. I can't mirror it as closely in Domus Analytics. But now I've got a lot of great statistics about a very specific market area. If I'm doing some marketing, if I'm doing some posting, some social media posts, I may be able to share some of this area, some of these statistics to that specific area. So it becomes very custom. So absorption rate's gone from 2 months to 6 months. That's up considerably. Pricing is down almost 10%. Median list price is down 24%. Average sales price is up 52%. and the median is up 26%. Days on the market are also down. So there's a shift in that kind of target area, if that was a custom area. Any uses that you can think of for something like that? Have I put you both to sleep just based on the fact that we're talking about statistics?
No, I'm thinking.
No, I was sitting here making my own polygons, so I apologize.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're playing
Uh,
with it.
So this would be good to provide to our sellers or potential buyers in our seller consult before.
In your consults, I think, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just thinking if we were meeting with a seller, discussing pricing, this would be a good statistical sheet that we could bring with us the second time we meet with them. Once we've also provided a CMA, we could actually back this up with this particular graph.
Yeah, I think, excuse me. I think you can do it. Excuse me. I think it can be used for both buyers and sellers. I think with sellers, when you show a seller something like this and start to talk to a story behind it, you can help them understand why your range may not be exactly where their thought process is, or you can help them understand why it might be more advantageous for them to come down to the lower end of their range rather than the higher end of their range. It's also great to leave something like this with someone to give them, to prompt questioning, to prompt them, not even, maybe you start with your initial seller consult, have some of the details, and then you leave them with this, and this is going to prompt questions they may not understand and want further clarification on, and you'd be the person to bring that to them since you brought the information to them. So I think there's different ways that you can use it. We're needing to get back to basics and reach out to our customer bases, whether they're current customers, past customers, geographic areas, demographic areas, psychographic areas that we target. We're needing to reach out to them more regularly as the market has shifted. They're not thinking top of mind real estate because they think the rates have gone too high. So we need to be providing information not only on how and what they can afford based on the current rates, but also where they may want to go, or how does the market that they're looking at, how has it been impacted by changes in market over the last month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. So this is a great thing. I think this is a great thing to be able to use just in your brand promotion, for lack of a better term. And you can see how quickly. So I moved to my polygon. I can customize. I can now do a new location. I can do Avondale, or let me do San Marco. I can now compare that to San Marco, just an area. Or where I chose is a little further south, but anyway, I can choose San Marco and search. And now fairly quickly, I can see how this would compare to San Marco. What's happening in San Marco. So the buyer and I can discuss, is it a stronger investment market in San Marco versus Miramar? Do they matter? Well, price points matter. Are they able to afford San Marco versus Miramar? Or do we have to go to Beauclair? Or do we have to go to Southside? Or do we have to go to Mandarin? Or, if you're working with a buyer that's not sure of their areas, this can help them understand how pricing is working in those different areas for them to target a specific market to go into to find the right home based on what the affordability is. So they may be able to afford a $650,000 home, but they're getting towards the top of their market in San Marco. So will the home be smaller? Will it have some of the features they want? Versus if they go to Miramar, they might be able to get that $650,000 house with a little more space, a little larger yard, maybe a different style. San Marco may be more Spanish or traditional, where Miramar may be more mid-century modern ranch. So it allows you to really talk about how the affordability and the market can make sense for them and to help direct them. I mean, a lot of people, a lot of buyers say, I want to be in. Okay, tell me why you want to be in. I want to be in San Marco. Great, tell me why you want to be. I have friends and family there. Okay, well, how far would your friends and family be if you're in San Marco? Great. So would you consider, the Miramar area just south of that? No. Why? Okay, it's too far. Okay, well, you're talking about San Jose Boulevard. So, I mean, we're talking probably five to 10 minutes, depending on where they are in San Marco. But would you like to have more space, or do you need more space? Or so you can start to talk about you can start to make the home opportunity more real for them by creating the story around what the statistics are showing us. You're saying you want space for a garden, but at this price point in this market, you may not be able to find that. But over here, for the same price, in a very similar area, you can find that. Would you be open to at least looking at a couple of places? Because despite the fact that our inventory is up, in some market areas, our inventory is very shy. And Jessica mentioned Amelia Walk, their inventory is up. She mentioned, I think, 14 different listings in competition with potentially theirs. Is that going to be the same thing if you hit a section of Mandarin? So you can become very not myopic. You can become very focused with your statistics to create that story, and also to create for a buyer a benefit of market area, to create for a seller benefit of competition. So if I'm a seller and I'm selling I'm in San Marco, I might be competition for Avondale, but Avondale pricing is about 10 to 15% lower. Would somebody who's looking in San Marco be willing to go over to Avondale? I don't know, it's across the river. There's a whole mindset that goes with that. It's a different mindset of, old money versus older money. So, we have to get down into the story of why someone's selecting an area, and then be able to show them their ability to pull, or ability to afford, or ability to get what their priorities are. So now, that's why it's going to be so important as we start to demonstrate our value with buyers and sellers, to be able to have these very frank conversations about more than what can you afford. It becomes a why you can afford it. So the statistics can help support the story of what they want in the home that they're buying, or what they want to sell, so they can move to something else. So I think the statistics can work as a benefit to both buyers and sellers. Anything you want to add, either of you? Diane, were you able to find something interesting?
Yes, I have a new listing coming up in Orange Park, and so I was able to do a polygon for that area. And so a lot of activity, like there's almost 35 listings in the area, and then I'm able to see that, oh no, like we're on the higher end of that range of listings. So it just lets me know that it's going to be a little bit difficult to sell, because it is at the higher price point that people are buying in the area. So kind of neat to see it. Days on the market have gone down though, so that's a good thing.
Good. Yeah. So, and I think that that's a great point that you can make. And Jessica, especially with your Bay Meadows, they may be in tune with seasonality also. And if days on market are going down, that could be what we talked about last week a little bit, moving towards a more traditional seasonal market where things pick up April, May. So if Sarah doesn't come back this week, they may be coming back every few weeks to try and tie something up before the market shifts, and they have more competition that's willing to pay a price.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think that ends up being a piece of it, is how's the seasonality going to impact it if we're seeing
So-
days on the market decrease.
So can we go back last year? Would that give us a good, I mean, even though it was a year ago, can we use those numbers from last year to sort of help guide us for this year, or no?
Sure. So I mean, you could take where you're at, and now you'd be looking at the residential market. And we'll show you how to get into a condo market discussion. But can you please remind me of the address there?
Yes, it's 3958 Bay Meadows Road. Three two two one seven.
Thank you. So it came up here, and I'm just going to go ahead and use this location. So I put that pin there. So if I zoom out, I can create my own market area. Goodby's Creek here, you're on the north side of it. How does it impacted by the creek? Obviously it's water. So I can, to get some general statistics, I could even just, I mean, you've got single family homes over here that I don't know that would apply when you're high end here. But if you wanted to do general market statistics, you could go in and say, all right, I'm just going to use for just giggles, I could just create this whole area right here and do statistics around that area when you cross over points. And save this. Remember, I can save it right here as a polygon. So if I come back into my market summary, all I have to do is customize it. New location. Oops. Here's the polygon down here. I have to keep moving you guys all over the place. Sorry. Hopefully it's not a jarring thing. Just kidding. All right, so there it is, and I can run my search really quickly. And again, this is residential, so this will give me an idea, but where you might want to be looking is in some of the more specific areas, or excuse me, more specific price points. Okay, so sometimes it takes longer. Right, so I may want to come down here and look what's going on here. So I'm here, really no activity here in sold, no activity here in new, active listings in this area, not so much. So this area, this price point is kind of mellow right now, just in that area. For you, it's something you're gonna want to be able to see a little more specifics that would be related to condos. And unfortunately, here we can't do condos. We used to be able to do condos, but we can't do condos right now. But there's another resource that you can look for market specific information as it relates to condos. Excuse me. Oh, and I'm sorry, I forgot to say, you can also say favorite. You got also save locations to favorites, so that you can just go back in and pull that market area. That Southampton one, residential. So it's pretty flexible, and that's kind of why I like it, and it's consistent. So if I'm meeting with customers a seller every month, I may want to pull this every month to see how it's shifted and changed, to see if there's any new story to tell. And then it's consistent. It's something they're familiar with. They look at it, they see it. It's consistent month to month. They can relate to it. So I'm not providing one resource one time, a different resource another time, a different resource another time. I'm consistent in the resources that I would be providing. Anything we want to add to market summary before I pop into Domus Analytics? Anything? And Yasmin joined us, so anything anybody wants to throw out there? A question about can you, or would we, or how would we, or?
One question, how do you actually save it to your favorites?
Okay, so when you get your favorite locations, you can use,
Okay.
oh, save any, sorry, okay. Go to your previous locations, and you should be able to save that. Oh, that's changed now. You used to be able to just click save as a location. Use a favorite location. Huh. Okay, we'll have to find out how we do that. Let's figure out. Get your statistics here. Huh. Oh, wait, maybe it's export? No. Export data. Email, no.
Okay, we can find out later. It's fine.
Locations. Well, now I'm curious. It used to be able to just come to your location when you put it in here, like, you know, Avondale. And you used to be able to save right from here. All right, I'll have to find out, and I can get back to the three of you on that. I'm sure it's something very easy, but I'm not thinking. Huh. All right. All right, I'll get back to you on that. Thanks for pointing that out. Huh. Now I'm curious. All right. Now I want to go, now I want to dig down into that hole and figure out why you can't save it so easily anymore. I don't know if it has to do with, maybe it was something that was, no? Okay. All right, sorry. So you're okay if we wait on that?
Of course.
All right. The other one I wanted to get into a little bit was Domus Analytics. Again, from your main dashboard, you can go to Domus Analytics. If you're in MLS and you want to pop over into it, just go to your menu and type in Domus, and you can get Domus Analytics, and it'll bring you to this screen here. And if you're looking at this screen, the thing about this, which is kind of nice, it goes from kind of general to geeked out. These last two are really kind of put a lot of different characters in there to, or excuse me, search points in there to get data information. This is quick, fast, easy, get a little more detailed, more detailed, more detailed, more detailed. As we're looking at our business plans for this year, one thing that a lot of us have started to identify is we would like to have a stronger presence on social media. Market infographics is a great place to do that. It's already set up to be social media friendly. So with market infographics, all you have to do is click on market infographics, click on the title, and it will take you right into that segment of Domus Analytics. So very quickly, here's something that I can then print either, you know, as a PDF. I can save it as I can go ahead and take it as a picture. But I can see right now, I'm looking at single family in all 9 counties. If I want to change that, I can change that. Just click on select all and it removes all of the check marks. Click on the county, or wait, you were doing something in Clay County. So in Clay County, I can see right away that single family residences, that they're down 3.5%, or excuse me, 3.3% in median sales price. Units sold is up 7%. Active inventory is up 95%. Median days on the market are up 28%. Median sold sold price per square foot is up 0.8%, and new listings are up 53%. So I'm going to have a lot of competition. Pricing is slightly down. If I want to see it for a different type of property, notice I can choose any of these different property types. So if you're looking at the condo market or becoming a condo specialist, Domus Analytics is probably the strongest place for you to go, unless you're pulling just specific communities or specific buildings. But this can give you a really great feel for, example, condominiums in Clay County, what's going on with them. Pricing is up, units are up, units sold are up, inventory is up, days on the market are up, new listings are up, and median sales price is down. A little bit of softer market there. Not quite as soft as waterfront or beachfront, beach areas, or higher end condos. But see how quickly you can change this so that I can get something very specific. Now I can do both too. I can do single family and condo. That's the other thing I like about Domus, is I can combine things. When they're saying residential, they're usually using single family, condo, and townhomes for their residential analysis. But this is a wonderful, quick, easy way to get something. If you're just like, today I want to make a post, but I don't know what to do, it's great to come in here and just make a post. Create your post right here. You're limited just to, where it is here. Or what could you do? You could do, let's do December 2024, and look, 365, and in January 25, 343. So it demonstrates how that pricing has changed. If I want to go back even further, I can. I can go back to September, 342, and compare that to January, 343. It's almost flat. But I can show trending. I can take and do this on a monthly basis as one of my posts. I can add this to my seller's consult or to my buyer's consult, so that they can be stronger in their offer pricing, stronger in their negotiation. It's a great tool, very quick and easy, that allows you to get something out fast. So you don't have to worry about, oh, what am I going to post? What am I going to do? This is a great social media partner for you in your brand presence. Has anyone used this piece?
Yes, this is the piece that I use. Now, I do not use it on social media, but this is what I'll go and look at this for understanding what's going on in the market month to month.
Yeah. So you can save it as a PDF right here and see what it looks like. But it's a great way to, it's set up for social media parameters, so that you can get it out there quickly too. But it's a great thing to use in social.
I definitely think it's great because it's just simple. You can see
It's so
up there.
visual.
It is very good visual.
Well, we tend to be very visual. So very simple. Property type, area, select all if you want. Fill property types. You can kind of see where we're at. And again, date range. It's monthly statistics, so you see how they compare. See what it is that's going on. So this is a nice, quick, easy one. 3 different pieces of variables that you can look at, or 3 different variables to look at. Okay. Next one is market review. Again, now we're going into a little more detail, few more options, more statistics to take a look at. Great piece for listing presentations, great piece for buyer consults. Again, why for buyers? Because they need to know the trending of the market. How strong of an offer are they going to make? What's the response they're going to get? How's it going to come together? What can they anticipate? What can they expect? What are the trends? Those are the kinds of things they should be asking. And if they're not, those are the kinds of things that you can tell them. So with this one, I'm going to blow it up a little bit because it's hard to see some of the statistics and details. But what we're looking at is single family residence, all 9 counties, 224 areas, and then there can be a 13-month year to date. So what I'm looking at first here is I'm looking at January. I can kind of see over time, electronically, I can see over time where the numbers are if I just place my cursor on the graph itself. Otherwise, I can see right away that median sales price is down 4.6%. Right? It was up, now it's down. So I can see over time what's happening with that. From December, now this is monthly, so I can see monthly, month over month, right? Excuse me. I can see sold, closed prices. I can see days on the market, how they're shifting. Just the graph alone tells me it came down and went back up, it came back down, and now it's going back up. It's up 1% month over month. And then list to sales price, 96.5%. Closed over list price. Okay, so list price, these are the list comparison and list prices, and this is the comparison in closed versus list price. So this list price is the last list price it was. So if there were price reductions, of course, that's going to make this number smaller versus compared to the original list price. This is just saying that the closed list price is 9.6%. There's a decrease in the closed price over the list price of 9.6%. Home affordability, sold price per square foot, new pendings. This is going to tell you activity, how active is the market, not market. It's down 2.5%, not uncommon for like January, February. New listings, active inventory. Is the active inventory up, down? Well, active inventory is up. Exactly what we're seeing. Shifts in the market. Months of supply, 6.5. So this is general. This is very general for single family residence. And if we look at how do we define single family residence? Just single family residence. 9 counties. Which counties? These 9 counties. And for 224 areas are all selected, right? So all the different areas that are in our MLS. Now this button over here on the right is kind of cool because if I just look at it as year to date and I want to compare year to date 23 versus 20, or excuse me, 24 versus 25, I can see year to date 24 was 374,000 versus now 379,000. So it's up. Sold inventory, closed inventory is up. Days on the market are up, right? List to sales price percentage down minimally. Closed over list price down considerably. Home affordability is considered down by 4.3%. Price per square foot, kind of no change. New pendings, wow, new pendings in 24 were way up. We were coming off of 23. It was a weird 24. Even when you saw our January numbers were pretty high compared to our January numbers in 25. And then new listings. Big increase in inventory, right? So fairly quickly, I can change this. So if I just want to look at condos, and I just want to look at condos in Duval County, I can even be very specific about the area that I want to be in, area or areas that I want to be in. I can be in San Jose, Eau Claire, Mandarin. So if I look at those areas, year over year, up, I'm sorry, down, down, sold units down, right? Days on the market up, list sales price up, close over list, no sales, home affordability up, price per square foot down, new pending down, people are not buying, and then new listings up, more highly competitive market. So with the numbers, I can tell some stories. I can say, ooh, golly, let's take a peek how that looks over time, right? Ooh, you can see that it's coming down, that the trending is down. Trending here is kind of up, but it's been pretty sporadic. Trending here is up now. List price received, closed over list price, down. Home affordability, sort of up. Square footage, down. New pendings, up. New listings, up. Active inventory, up. Greater competition. Month supply of inventory. In the condo market, in Duval, in those communities, we're working at a 15-month supply. Wow. Versus the previous month. And then over time, year to date, all I have to do is toggle it. See how quickly you can get some great calculations about very finite metro areas. That's the only downside with Domus Analytics is you can't customize that area as well. Anything of interest that you see here in the second section. So social media, brief, 3 parameters. We're stepping further into this. We're getting not only property type and area, we can go down into deeper dive area, and we're comparing a 12-month trend versus year over year, 13-month trend versus year over year.
Quick question, would any of these slides be good for social media to be specific like this, or should we be more broad?
I think for social media, it needs to be more broad.
Okay.
When you're doing something like this in social media, I think there's too much.
Okay.
I think it was 5 pieces in the other one, 5 different statistics, I think. When you start going much over 3 to 5 numbers, people zone out.
Sure. So that first
Now,
would be great for social media when the very first page, not the detailed list like this. You know what I'm talking about.
yeah,
The first
yeah.
page that was more visual. We're just,
Right.
that first page.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
I think that first page is a great one to use in social media. And I think with social media, the other thing about that is don't be afraid to offer a consult or more details, or if you're a geek like me and want more numbers, call me or reach out, and I'm happy to provide you with more detailed statistics about your market or something. So give them a call to action. Questions, call me. Questions, reach out. Phone, email, type of thing. But I love this one when I'm getting into a seller consult or a buyer consult. This helps me either affirm or confirm if we're not on the same page on pricing, and it helps me with buyers to kind of prepare them for what we're gonna be experiencing, or what we may experience as we get into the offer negotiation time. You can almost pick the things that a seller may negotiate on. And how this, time on the market, sorry, here, which is going up, versus length of time on the market or length of time for competition, can impact their decision to price more accurately. Or it opens the discussion on timing. How quickly do you want to be out of here? How does that impact where you move next? That kind of a discussion. Okay. And again, don't forget about the year to date. Those are nice things to be able to look at. Okay. So then the third option are the weekly trends. So now we're starting to get a little more detailed information. Weekly trends. This is going to show how things change week over week. So now we're getting very detailed. So when we look at the weekly trends, once it comes up, see now it's the same week prior. So if we're having regular meetings with, or we're making weekly phone calls to our sellers, and we don't know what to say, oh, there were no lists, there were no showings, and getting feedback, or there were showings, I get negative feedback, excuse me, then you can kind of get a feel for same week, prior year, prior week, current week. So look at the bouncing of the information, the bouncing of the median sales price. I can change what statistic I'm looking at, closed sales. So closed sales went from 452 to 260 to the current week 361. Look at that drop. Okay. Look at how it looks week over week. A little wonky, can be a little overwhelming, but these are the other statistics that you can look at. You can evaluate on a deeper dive. New pending sales. Ooh, let's see what people are doing when they're buying. Are we up or down? We're down. Okay, so 555 to 352 to 328. Okay, so pending sales are down. But I'm looking at the pending price, but what am I looking at the pending price of? So multiple property types in multiple counties, multiple areas, multiple subdivisions. If I add my filter screen, I can see I'm looking at single family condo townhome. I'm looking in all these counties. I'm looking at all these areas. I'm looking at all these subdivisions and all these zip codes. So I can get very granular on this also. I can just choose Duval County by clicking select all and then select all again to get rid of all the selections, and now click on Duval County. And now I'm looking at new pending sales, Duval County. If I'm looking at it as a whole, I can just turn off my filters, and now I can see what's happening in Duval County with new pending sales. And what does it tell me? Multiple property types in Duval. Okay. And so we're looking at 252 to 174 to 172. So almost flat week over week, year over year, definite differential, down 31%. So the filters, by turning the filters on, I have the capability to customize on a more refined area. But this is, again, a great way to say, I just want to see all counties, how it works, and what the numbers are for new pending sales. And now I want to look at that same information, for just Duval County. So just Duval County, or I can then say, all right, not only just Duval County, I want to go even more specific. I want to just go Mandarin. And now I see those. So I'm drilling down. So if my customer has a misperception, buyer or seller has a misperception on where the market is, I can take this and drill down to show them trending, how it's changing. And I'm showing them week over week. So now I'm getting much more detailed. Do they want that? Is that where their mindset is? Is that the kind of thing that they look at having interest in? Are they a detail person? Or do you need the detail to tell the story to help them get where you need them to get so that you can help them accomplish the goal of getting out of here and moving to XYZ state or area to start a new job or to expand the family or to buy something to be closer to family or whatever the reason or rationale is. But this is looking weak. So this is now we've gone from, more general social media to being more specific. Now we're getting very specific time-wise, weekly trends, and any of these characteristics. And all I have to do is turn on my filters so I can see what's out there and what I need to change. It'll come with everything selected when you first go into it. But always check your filters because sometimes you look at numbers and you go, that can't possibly be right. So check your filters sometimes. This is nice trending. Questions on this as we're getting deeper into this? All right, so then there's the market insights. So insights are going to be detail, 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 detail. So this is your engineers, some of your school teachers, your math people, people who just do a lot of reading and consumption of data. Market insights is a great place to work to customize something more in depth. So you'll see when we get into market insights, as things come up, you can, again, always change the governing statistic that you're referring to or looking at. So try and find out what they would relate to better, or based on your gut feeling and understanding of not only the market, but the area itself, what's going to be the smartest statistics to stick with or to take a look at. While we're waiting for this to come up, is there anything that I'm missing or that you guys would like to make sure we're aware of, or question you want to try and get addressed other than the safe spaces in market summary? Okay. So with market insights, again, most everything's starting with median sales price, which is 353. It's up 0.6% since January of 2024. Excuse me. But I can look at all of these different items. I can do price distribution graphs. I can do comparison graphs. I can do zip code map, geographic graphs. I can come over to here. This is the median. This is median price. So if I want to change that, all I have to do is pick here to close sales, sold, price per square foot, sold price per acre, any of these statistics I can use. Excuse me, and that will be the governing factor. And I can change the date. So what time frame am I looking at? Again, if I wanted to look at January versus February, or excuse me, January versus December, I could just put in December 2024, and I can see graphically how that is different from the January 2025. Didn't seem to change much. I can look at monthly. I can look at quarterly. I can look at year to date. I can look at yearly, full year. I can break it out. So I can break it out by property type. For example, if when I'm in my filters, I have selected more than one property type. I can break this out by property type. I can break it out by county. I can break it out by different demographic definitions. But now what I see is here, I've got single family, here I've got townhomes, and here I've got condominiums. When I choose them, that's what will be chosen for me. And if I want to break it out, I can. Or if I want to just compare those three, I can. You can see there's a little more activity or highs and lows in single family versus versus townhomes versus condos. Here's my monthly down here. Right. And here are all my filters. So these are now, I'm getting more customization available. I'm looking at specific property types. I'm looking at counties, areas, zip codes. Do I want new construction included? Yes or no. Waterfront, yes or no. So I can be very, very specific about this. If you have a waterfront property, this is probably where you want to look to get greater insights into the market area around it, or what might be selling or not selling. And then, of course, excuse me, closed listings only. Is there buyer financing? Select all the type of financing that they have. So this is now becoming much more detailed. I can use price ranges. I can use living areas, living space, in other words, square footage, and I can use year built. So there's a lot of stuff that you can use to narrow this down. But remember, you're talking statistics. So the more finite you get, the less confidence you can sometimes put in something that's very small, because you may not have enough numbers to make it work. So I would stick to more the general. If you wanted to, if I was working with someone who was priced at 800, I might, move the price range up to, because I'm not going to get a lot of people at certain areas that are going to be able to afford it, or that are going to want to even look at it. So I might do, 750 to whatever, over $1 million, and see how that changes. So I can talk specifics to my customer base. If living area is the thing that's most important to them, I can adjust that also. So any of these will help out being more specific. Try to stay up in here so that you're kind of building. So if I'm building in a specific subdivision, or if I'm taking a listing in a specific subdivision, I might want to look at that subdivision. Then I might want to look at the area. Then I might want to look at a broader space, or additional statistics or additional features that would be able to be put on the property. So this market insights is really a great way to see how things are adjusting in a comparison type of platform, as well as, and the dotted line is going to be what represents the median sales price, or we're going to look at original list prices, how it worked. Oof, hello. Love when you put stuff over it and they just kind of go all over the place. So something there that you want to address, look at. Some of these things you're just going to need to get in and play with so that you can see how it would apply. But if you're in Domus, I would really look to stay towards the first 2 to 3, and then think about the insights section, because you've got market insights and price insights. If you can focus on those 3, I think you'll have a lot of information either using social media, or that you can customize for a specific buyer or seller console. And just think about how powerful that can be when there's something that addresses a lot of their concerns and addresses some of their questions and is in line with what they're looking at, and it's provided by that realtor. Okay. All right. Stats are fun. And then pricing insights is the last piece of Domus Analytics. This is set up very similar to market insights, but these are the pricing insights. Again, what's the property type? Can you combine more than one property type? I don't think you can on this one. I think you have to be specific to your property type. Yeah, you can't. It has to be one specific property type. Single family, and I'm looking at, I can trend over the last 6 months, right? And then which county, we'll stick with Duval for right now, which city, or excuse me, which area. I can go into a specific area, or I can select all of them. We'll just stick with kind of what we've been doing at, what we've been looking at. And then is there a specific subdivision I want? One or two of them, it's fine. I can check those. And then zip code, and then I'm ready to take a look. So I've got everything here. And now if I go ahead and close that filter, I can kind of see how it's changing. What's the proposed list price here? How does that compare to what range we gave them? What's the total square footage? It's on average. What's happening in the market? So this is telling us that listings below the 279 per square foot, way up, so a saturated market. Listings below the 422, kind of 50-50, median closed. So you can see how it's all gathered right here around this key point, right? And that there are all of these outliers up here. And the length of time is what's going to, price point here is what's going to impact this versus amount, right? I'm not a big fan of scatter graphs, just because it's hard to kind of tell the story easily because it's all gathered up at one point or one price point. But you don't have the choice to change from a scatter graph. The scatter graph is really what is the power here. And then the tools over on the right. So what you want to look for in something like the pricing insights is where's the pricing gathering, right? Maybe it's out this way, but where's the pricing, the core pricing? How does that impact to where you're at? How does that impact to where the seller would like to sell or the buyer would like to buy? Are there pockets deep enough to afford that area? Or do we need to evaluate the area, find the characteristics, and possibly open them up to other areas in our market or in the market that might make sense for them? Hola. Anything you want to say about Domus Analytics? Again, if you're looking at the main screen, really focus on quick, easy market infographics and market review. You're starting to get into some nice trending information, customizable trending information with weekly trends. And the market insights and pricing insights are a lot more detailed, but you can have some nice comparisons. So if you're working with someone who is very detailed, you may want to sit towards the market insights, pricing insights, and weekly trends. If you're trying to do some marketing, or maybe it's your first buyer consult, or you don't want to overwhelm someone, that market infographics and market review can be terrific tools to utilize when connecting with a buyer or seller. Something to add, you guys? Are you already working in some of these then? Because you find them interesting?
Yes, I definitely found it interesting. The more details. I've never used the market insights before.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way your mind works, I think market insights and pricing insights are great for you to be able to back up your information. Probably going to share something like a market review or weekly trends. And then the market insights and pricing insights will give you additional information to support what your premise is, or what your marketing strategy is, or what your strategy is in pricing. Yasmin hasn't had any questions yet. I'm kind of nervous.
She posted in the chat. She says, I will have
But-
lots of questions when I try to do it by myself.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see the chat. Okay, good. All right, terrific. That's good. I said I should have brought up chat before. Thank you for reminding me. All right. Are we okay to move on to metro market trends?
Yes. And
Oh,
Yasmin said
yeah,
that her
I see that.
microphone,
Thank you.
okay.
Thank you for catching that. Diane, you okay?
I'm good.
Diane's already creating 17 reports. Anyway,
No, I like a lot of this because a lot of times I do a once a week sellers check-in, and I'm gonna be adding a lot of this to my sellers, weekly market analysis, because I usually say what's happening, but now I have statistics to show that I know what I'm talking about. It's not just me making this stuff up.
right. Well, I think that's a great point. I think the other thing about this is with the statistics, we need to have stronger connections with our customer bases, to build our referral base, to capture a buyer, to connect with a seller for listings. And having that weekly conversation that you're talking about is so important. But I think what happens to many of us, not necessarily you, Diane, but to many of us, we do that for 3 or 4 weeks. Oh, hi, we had 3 showings. Oh, hi, we had 2 showings. Oh, hi, we had 2 more showings. Oh, we don't have any showings. Oh, what the heck am I going to say? We don't know what to say. So we can redirect those conversations to say, well, we haven't had any showings, but I did look at some statistics, and here's what I can see. And I'm going to go ahead and send this to you so that you can review it too, and we can have another discussion. Or, every Tuesday you send out one specific market report, and your customer knows that that's part of what you'll be discussing on Wednesday or Thursday when you call them for your weekly update. So I think there's ways to utilize the tools to strengthen our relationship with our customer base, as well as give them information to get them into the real world. So the third one that I did want to take a look at is Metro Market Trends. And Metro Market Trends is on your dashboard here. It is also available through your menu. And all you have to do is type in MMT. That's MMT Tax, or My MMT is the other place you want to be. And here's the difference. MMT Tax, we go into MMT Tax, what you'll see is that this is the main screen for Metro Market Trends, or MMT. This has your sales transactions, your owner property information, your pre-foreclosure information. Down here is your My MMT, which is your contact. You can engage contacts, or My MMT. You can pull specific information. This is where you would be you'd be able to purchase, if it's available, email addresses or potentially phone numbers. This is where you can put together marketing campaigns, like through My MMT Engage Contact. You can put together market postcards or something you want to send out, or maybe an electronic campaign is where you can kind of work with those to really kind of help. You can see what it is you want to select your areas first. In other words, develop your base that you're looking at. So we can do a search here, property owners. We can look at property groups. We can look at single family, condos. So we'll start with single family. Property types, anything that we want to look at specifically in property types. This is more based on categories from zoning. Is there a specific subdivision that you're looking at? That's Jack's Golf, and it's Jack's, JAX, Jack's Golf and Country Club, and you can choose one, you can choose more. I could have added all, so I could say Jack's Golf and Country Club, Jack's Golf, and I could add all to the list, so it puts them all in there. I can look for specific information here, and then I can go ahead and search, and it will pull all those people. And then I can look for or request information. Potentially, if I've signed up and I have an account, I can get phone numbers, email addresses to do some sort of a electronic campaign with them. I can show here, grab them all if I need to. I can grab one. I can check the owner out. I can go ahead and alphabetize them so I could see if somebody owns more than one property. I could see what's going on in that specific area. So this is a great way to, in MyMMT, it's a nice thing I can export out of here, so I can export to a CSV file. And for those of you who are into a spreadsheet type of work, you can work within that. I can export to Real Mailers. So Real Mailers are those programs that allow me to send something out. A lot of people use EDDM, but EDDM goes across, can go across subdivisions or across areas. If I'm exporting into something like Real Mailers, I can use just the selected individuals or just the selected area that I want to target. So it's also a marketing type of program that allows me to do that. I can get reports from here. I can create charts. So this is a great way to get a better feel for my market area. Get my charts here. I can even create these charts on a very defined space by defining my x-axis, defining my y-axis. That's a little way, that's okay, not a little, it's more than a little way over my head, but I can create these charts and graphs within the platform here. So MyMMT is a way to refine a target or to expand where my marketing is going so that I can expand potential opportunities for listings and potential support in sales with MyMMT. But you can see it gets, it's very detailed. I can go back and I can change my search fairly easily. So MyMMT is a great way to combine marketing along with selection. So I can be very refined or it can be very broad, but it's a great way to get all of that information on specific groups or specific elements within it. Oops, sorry, MyMMT, there we go. So it can be, a lot of times we have trouble if we're trying to expand or target a market area, we have trouble finding them. We go into COJ.net or Clay County Property Appraiser's Office, and they're a little more cumbersome to work through. I can refine my searches in MyMMT. I can refine my searches in MMT SearchNet. Let's see, back to here. If I just go into MMT under tax, which is again that main menu, I can search for properties that may have closed that weren't in that aren't in MLS to add them to my market analysis. I can look for already predefined, like if I feel like I've got an investor listing coming up, I can go into investors and you can see how it's all defined. And I can find investors in a specific area and then target them. And then I can take them into getting the capture, the contact capture. I can go ahead into contact capture to try and get those actual email addresses and or phone numbers to reach out to about a listing that I have or the listing that is coming up that may be more of an investor type of market. You do have to have an account. In other words, you have to have your credit card on account. And what it is it's 15 cents per contact record. There we go. The thing about walking through MMT or Metro Market Trends is if I'm looking for something, it takes me step by step through it. So if I want to have a list that I send to, I can do that through my MMT and take the list right into the real mailers, or I can go ahead and find maybe just single family within a specific subdivision. So San Marco, if there's anything named San Marco, so there's all these San Marcos. So if I take San Marco, I can put that in as a search and go ahead and search that for single family in San Marco, and I come up with 134 single family homes. Chances are there's probably a lot more than that. If I want to check that out, I can look at the map and say, well, this is what San Marco's defined as, and that's really not all the spaces that I want. I kind of wanted to see a little more, or I wanted to add a few more to San Marcos. So this is just right in here by the pond, plus a few over here. Well, what about those condos or townhomes that are actually right in this section? What about, so what in choosing, because it's not a defined subdivision from San Marco, it's anything that has San Marco in the legal description. So it may not work as well for me with something like San Marco. However, if I come back to my property search and I reset, you can see that if I'm looking at something like Jack's Golf and Country Club, and I add all to the list and do a search. Oops, sorry. Because I saw this, it's not going to work because I select all. Let me go ahead and remove unchecked. That'll get rid of that subdivision. And I'll do Jack's Golf and Country Club. And how can we do add all to list? I used the wrong one. I used the add to list. Now all of those are over here. If I search, I can see that I have 931, but look at these weird ones up here. Undefined sewage, blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay, I didn't choose single family. So now if I choose single family and search, I've only got the single family. I'm down to 902. You know, I could even do single family residences that have lived in their purchase date was, I don't know, 01, 1995 to 12/31/2005. And then do a search. And I've got 168. Could these people be interested in moving? Have they experienced a high increase in equity? I can export that. I can create mailing labels from this. If I want to see where they are in the community, I just click on map and it will show me where those individuals are spread throughout the Jack's Golf and Country Club area. Are they never going to leave? I don't know. So it's 20 to 30 years ago, right? That they bought. Houses are practically paid off. We've had some significant price increases. Where else can I get those statistics? And then can I also take that into my MMT and join the Real Mailer program and send out a mailing program? Or do I want to go into my MMT and purchase their contact information and create an email campaign, a drip campaign for that specific group? So my MMT can mirror that if we're looking at some sort of demographic or psychographic element. I could do it on a broader base scale. The other nice thing about this is if I want to define an area, so if I'm back in my search and I reset my search, if I want to define an area like we had talked about San Marco, and it didn't look like the San Marco I wanted it to look like, I can start my search with a map search. It's bringing me over here. I just have to cross the river. And if I define San Marco as, up here to LaSalle and down Hendricks, or even, let me do it this way. Let me go, is this LeBaron or LeBron? I can never remember that name of the street. Go in further. Oops. So if I just want to be down to this creek and up a little ways, I can define that by using the polygon tool to say, all right, this is down near the base of San Marco, and I want to come up here. And I want to come across here. Now I can define this as San Marco. This can be the area that I actually search for property owners that I can actually export. So you can use, let's see, use drawn areas. And then I'm back to my search input. And if I search, now I have all of the 700 names and addresses for those. If I just want single family, I can do that. And I've come from 700 to 435. So that might be a more reasonable list to work with. I can separate this out by, again, things like length of time that they've owned the property. This is using the partial value is not always the best way to go because that's based on city number. I probably want to look at something like square footage, or year built, or is it waterfront, yes or no. Exclude owners. This can be, in other words, this can exclude certain owners from the list, or I can do if they've got tax exemption, homestead or non-homestead. I could do bedrooms and bathrooms. Maybe if I've got a buyer who's looking in a specific area and we can't find what we want, I could do a search for homes that meet their criteria and then go into contact capture and purchase the names, purchase the email addresses and phone numbers for those individuals and create a campaign or a letter that would go just to those individuals. So where MMT can be extremely helpful and flexible is finding those locations. So something like Market Summary and Domus Analytics gives you the statistics to work with to talk to your buyers and sellers about what's trending in the market or how the market is trending physically. And then this, through MMT, this can help get me either contact information, create mailers, create my own subdivision, create my own market area, get those addresses, be unique, add demographics or psychographic, more psychographic or geographic targeting and based on number of years in the market. So that's psychographic, number of years owned, which would be psychographic. In other words, what's their mentality, downsizing potentially, empty nester potentially, taking out equity, development of equity in their home to do something else. So there's a lot of ways that you can take MMT data and kind of create a story behind your strategy for expanding your business base, business development type of base that you might be looking at. Anybody have a question about MMT that they've looked into before or trying to look into, or a question that you want to just throw out there and see which resource we as a group might want to go to find an answer to the question. Chat. No. Okay. So those are some of the resources, probably the top 3 resources that I think can be beneficial in gaining statistical information, as well as combining maybe your strategies in your business development with finding the resources or finding the targets. If this has sparked an interest in a specific strategy or a specific way to build your business, then let's set an appointment and see if we can figure out how best to grab some of the information as easy as possible and create something. Maybe you want to, pull some names from MMT and addresses and send out an offer for a market analysis. Maybe you have a customer that you're working with that you haven't been able to find the right thing, and maybe we could help them. Maybe you've got somebody who's a little on the fence about buying or selling, and they're not sure what's happening within a market. We could go to some of the statistics through Domus Analytics. Maybe you want to start marketing to a specific base or a specific area. So in Market Summary, you'll see that in Market Summary, there are different areas that I tend to gravitate towards based on where I usually market. And you'll see I've got Avondale adjacent in here. So this is a polygon that I've created. There's other areas that I've created through polygons. So you can create different custom market areas. And the nice thing about that is, especially if it comes to MMT, if you're working in the property search or in this one, and you want to create a market for your map search. For example, one of my market areas I used to market to was a weird market because I didn't want to go over certain spaces. So I was able to create a market that matched the definition of what I had in Market Summary. So I had the statistics and then I had the people. So I created a polygon that pulled names. So I could do here. I cut out a portion here, went back in, down, around, over. Up. On this side of Boone, but not this side. So you can create your own custom market area to use in searching. And then you would have all of those, and it would match your market summary. And so you've got statistics matching the people, and then you can create something in Domus Analytics just for a more general, maybe the historic areas, like the Riverside Avondale, Ortega, or like San Marco versus Miramar versus San Jose versus Lakewood versus you can be up in North Jacks, you can be looking at Amelia Walk versus what's another subdivision down off of Yellow Bluff. It's got some water.
Marsh Winds.
Thank you, Marsh Winds. You can compare those. Amelia View. So any place in our market, you can define your own market space, or you can use those that are defined already to kind of create that layering to reach out. I know statistics aren't fun. but we need them. And it'll be definitely a way to separate yourself or to set yourself ahead of some of the competition that may be in the market. Thoughts, questions, add-ons?
Practice. Need to practice running these statistics.
At least try and spend some time or try and create some questions, or as you hear people talking about what's going on in the market, maybe think about places you can go or create your own questions to answer for your customer in advance or customers. Think about pieces that you might want to add to your buyer consult or your seller consult. Think about things that you can use to communicate better with past customers. Doesn't have to be difficult, doesn't have to be detailed, but know that you have statistics available to you, you have customer lists available to you for free. You know, you can get contact information. It costs you, but it's 15 cents a record. It's not horrible. Just some thoughts. We're still at the beginning of the year, so there's lots of opportunity to expand what you're currently doing or to enhance what you're currently doing. Anything anybody wants me to go into? Okay. Well, I appreciate you guys jumping on and hanging with me for a couple of hours. If you want to do any one-on-one with any of these programs, just let me know. We can do that. I've also looked at having MLS come in for a couple of training sessions, both in person and via Zoom. So I'm sure that Jeremy and or others have insight that I don't have. So hopefully we can get that. And then I have to get back to you three on how to save an area in Market Summary. Anything else? There's nothing else. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording and wish you all a wonderful day.
So Clark, if we wanted to schedule, have we stopped recording?
Yes,
I think we're still recording. There we are.
I stopped.
I don't know.
I paused it.
Okay, so if we want to schedule a one-on-one to help identify a couple of areas to save and practice the polygon and maybe go through a
Yeah.
couple of these sections to learn how to create a database for mailouts, we
Yeah.
can schedule that with you, right?
Sure,
Great.
sure. No problem. I mean, depending on what your marketing strategies might be for this year, whether it's 8 transactions, 10 transactions, 92 transactions,
Mhm.
totally open to all of them.
Thank you.
Oh, Diane jumped off. So, okay. Well, thanks, you guys.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate your time.
Have a good
And I hope
day.
that you have a wonderful day.
Same to you.
All right. Take care, you all.